the mother of all deals, the shift in global trade or just a risk management? I discuss these issues with my fellow colleagues from different corners of the world. I'm Jarosław Włodarczyk. Welcome to Press Talks.
Sanjay Kapoor, editor, Hard News magazine, senior commentator on Indian and global affairs, author of Bad Money, Bad Politics. Ernest Sagaga, African-European journalist and podcaster, Secretary General at the ACP Press Clubs Federation, former head of Human Rights and Safety at the IFJ. Jarosław Włodarczyk, award-winning Polish TV journalist and foreign affairs commentator, news anchor and interviewer with over 30 years of experience, former diplomat.
Good to see you all. Thank you for joining. A deal that could reshape the global trade or just rebalance risk. Let's see the headlines.
The mother of all deals, India and EU finalize free trade agreement. The post-US world is already taking shape. Look at the massive EU-India trade deal. How the India-EU trade deal creates a $27 trillion market.
Jarosław, let me start with you. Politically, why this deal is delivered today, and what does it say about European ambitions in this fragmented world?
First, thank you for having me in this program, and I think there is a very difficult thing to pronounce opinion in name of every European country. This is completely impossible because our economies are very diverse, and it is impossible to compare the history of commerce or trade with India, for example, or such countries like Germany, Great Britain, Poland, etc., etc. In every case, this is completely different story and completely different scale of the business of the trade. So I think that the moment of this agreement between India and European Union is very interesting because we have problems in international relationship caused by very dynamic policy of the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And of course, Europe, we want to have access to biggest markets of the world. We don't know taxes and another type of limits of our interchange of our commercial and economic cooperation with the world. So for Europe, this is very good moment. And for us, for Poland, we have not so big commercial contacts with India. This is very good opportunity to open our economy and to give for our economy this possibility. Polish trade is completely dominated by European Union. More than 70% of Polish commerce is with the European Union. The biggest country is, of course, our neighbor Germany, and then, for example, we have China, but China is the country we have very big import from China, a very small export to China. So
Jarosław, let me stop you here, and because I want to pass it to Sanjay, you presented European or Polish perspective, and I'm very interested how it's seen in India. Is it a win of India, of government of India, or is also a risk of opening a market in this very sensitive moment for European products? Sanjay, could you please comment it from the Indian perspective and how it's seen?
Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the panel, Jaros. There has been a great amount of build-up by the government of India, especially India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, about this deal, about the mother of all deals, as they say. And there's great amount of excitement which is visible in the newspapers. But there are skeptics who keep on harping that it will take about a year for it to fructify. It is not the same thing as having a deal with the United States of America, with which is a natural fit. If you can remember, it took about 18 years of constant interruption and discussion that continued for a while between India and European Union to finalize this deal. And now you have many skeptics going on television and saying that European Union could not finalize a deal with Mercosur. In fact, it had to go back to the table, and there would be a great amount of delay in that. So there are no guarantees that the deal with India might happen. But having said that, there is a certain amount of happiness in government circles that India has been able to get this deal when the US had refused, with whom India sees a natural affinity. And they believe that in a certain way, with many products that are stuck in the pipeline, Europe would be able to fill up for where India has lost to the US.
So now I would like to ask Ernest, who is in Brussels, in the heart of this deal, from our side. You are in the Brussels Press Club now, and so what Brussels, in sense of European institutions, wants from that deal? Is it for the growth, leverage, or it's just a security because of these unstable times?
Well, thank you very much, Jarosław, and it's good to be back. Well, I would say actually a little bit of all of the above, because yes, of course, growth necessarily, because EU will have access to one of the biggest markets in the world. India has got 1.5 almost billion people. It could also leverage a very highly developed tech industry in the country. And indeed, it could be insulation, because nowadays we are talking about the threat of tariffs from the US administration against European products. So I think Europe is trying to hedge its bets by trying to find other alternative venues and options to grow its market and also to grow its trade balance with India.
Right, and I want to return for a moment to Sanjay, because to see the Indian perspective, and I'm very interested which sectors in India are expecting to have the biggest growth, and where are some fears about the European products or trade from Europe?
The sectors which are expected some kind of a heft are the textile sector. They think that India would be able to get in far more with all the products which could not go to the US. European market will open up. In fact, there are a certain amount of nervousness across the border in Pakistan that with India pushing its textiles in Europe, they would end up losing a lot of jobs. In fact, there is a great amount of exaggeration which is there, visible on social media from Pakistan. We say that about 10 million jobs would be lost from Pakistan alone, which I think is too far-fetched. But the fact of the matter is that when the United States of America imposed 50% tariff on India, the 3-4 sectors that did very badly, one was the gem and jewelry, the other one was textile, and the third one, the shrimp sector. And also, there have been a number of immigrants who wanted to go to the US and work. They were also stopped in wherever they were. They were actually stranded, and many of them are returning also. So the belief is that with Europe, with the deal, with mother of all deals, a lot of things will open up, especially textile, and there would be greater appreciation for Indian labor in these markets. In fact, Prime Minister Modi has been talking about how many of the young people who got no opportunities with the world closing in will find no opportunities once upon beckoning them from countries in the European continent. So
Yeah.
let us see how it plays out, because I think Mr. Modi has a tendency to talk a lot without anything really delivering on the ground.
Right, and I want to add another perspective. I want to ask Ernest about African perspective. You are from Rwanda as well, and you read African news very well. And how it's read in Africa, this deal?
I have to say, Africa has got its own track with Europe. They have a partnership, EU, AU, which is actually now 25 years old. And they just launched another big investment package called the Global Gateway European Union and Africa, which actually is worth about 150 billion euros, and which is supposed to really help Africa develop an inclusive green digital transformation. And there are other initiatives as well in Africa supported by Europe, which actually is the top trading partner with Africa, ahead of China, India, US, and the Gulf states. So I believe that these are two different tracks, but of course India remains also among the biggest trading partners of Africa.
Okay, thank you. And Jarosław, quick question, quick answer. Will it go in Europe to bigger unity or diversity because of the egoistic interests of particular countries with this deal?
Both, I think, because this is very good opportunity for every country in Europe to do business with Indian enterprises, and it shows us also the necessity to coordinate our commerce policy, European commerce policy. So I think that this is only positive impulse for every country and for all the European Union.
Thank you. Let me pause for the second now, because I want to add a wider perspective. These trade deals are not separate events now. They became the parts of the global puzzles. And let's see what media worldwide are talking about it.
Trump tariffs could isolate the US and create new trading blocs. 2 billion people, one global order. How India-EU mega trade deal is a game changer. How Trump's trade threats have reshaped Europe's global strategy.
Let's start with political logic behind these events, and I would like again to start from Jarosław. Is European Union or Europe wider understanding setting the rules, or it's just a sprint to escape from the problem with China and the US?
Of course, we are trying to maintain the certain stability and equilibrium between Europe and United States. Our Atlantic Euro-Atlantic community must be stable. So this is very important. We are a little bit shocked in this moment with the policy of the President of the United States, but we must be open for the world. We are not able to survive the global competition when we are blocked and we are closed and unable to maintain commercial and economic relation with India or with China or with Africa, etc., etc. So we must maintain very good relationship with the United States, but we must think how to open our commercial and economic possibilities. I can say you, for example, that the Polish trade with Latin America is only 1% of our international trade. So it shows how big is the opportunity for Poland to open our contacts.
And thank you. And Ernest, how would you comment the same? I mean, is it a new network that European Union is building, the Mercosur, India, African deals, or it is just a lowering a risk with the US, but it's not the essence of the deal?
I believe it makes perfect sense for Europe as a global economic powerhouse to try and grow its trade balance and grow, have more opportunities for its products to be exported, and also to make sure that it can receive the prized and necessary assets for its industry, like raw materials, minerals, and energy as well. So all that goes into consideration when they try to work out and strike out these trade deals. Regarding Africa, of course, Africa has got opportunities to benefit from these trades. For instance, there is a huge logistic now project going on in Africa, the Lobito Corridor, which links Zambia, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Angola, and supported by EU as well as by the Americans. So that corridor will make it easy to transfer products from one country to another, and to be able to ship them out to the Western world in a very easy and also climate-friendly way. And above all, it will also develop some local infrastructure in Africa, which will be a big benefit and a big advantage to African economies.
Okay, and Sanjay, Ernest just said that Africa has a lot of opportunities with Europe and possibly with India. And India just closed the deal with Angola and Nigeria for the oil supply. So my question is how India is understanding its role to be a bridge between Africa, Europe, and Asia, or another role as a player on this global trade?
We must recognize, Jaros, that India would not have gone to Angola or Nigeria till the time there was pressure from the United States of America to stop buying oil from Russia. India has been under tremendous pressure through the tariffs that have been imposed on it for the last few months, and that has resulted in India looking for new suppliers for its oil. So they bought about 2 million tons of barrels of oil from Angola in January this year. More is going to be bought from Nigeria. So there's been a shift that is taking place, which is very welcome in a certain way, because India is exploring new markets, new suppliers, and this would bring about a certain amount of balance in global trade also. Otherwise, it was all skewed in favor of the West. But India has a tendency of stopping supply of oil under pressure from the US. We did that against Iran when it came under sanctions. That was in 2018-19. And now we are stopped buying oil from Russia. So Russia has been suffering primarily because of this thoughtless attack on Ukraine, and it has India continued to buy. And the plea that they gave for quite a while was we were not stopped by the US. Now it's true, US is asking them to stop buying oil, and we are forced by circumstances to buy or look for supplies elsewhere, and Africa is always there to help us out. So I think it's a good augury that something like this has happened.
Yeah, but from what you said, it's rather India was forced or pressed or had no other option. And my question is more deeper, does India have ambitions to be a leader of that wider group of countries in Africa and in Europe in this wider deal, or not?
I don't think India has the ambition to become the leader of anybody, although they might be looking for India to lead the group. But as I said, their responses are more an outcome of the pressure that is coming to them from the US. And that is why they have, in fact, if you look at the mother of all deals with Europe, it happened primarily because India was not able to cement a deal with the United States of America. And that is why they wanted to show that, look, there are other people, other geographies that can align with them, primarily because they have a large appetite for all kinds of goods. And India is a country of 140 billion people, and they can really, 1.4 billion people, not 140, 1.4 billion people, and they can really provide heft to any economy that comes close to them. So in a certain way, I think India still has an eye over towards US, and they want relationships to be restored. And if you ask me that they're looking for a leadership role with the African Union, I don't think they do. They are in a position to do it.
Okay, I got it.
In the early days when Nehru was in power.
Thank you. How do you think Europe and Africa can develop the trade? And because mostly Africa is dominated by China and some parts by Russia, and now the US are trying to enter wider. So what would be position of Europe in that game?
I believe Europe has got a lot to win and to gain from Africa's success and stability. These are two countries which are bound by history, by language, and actually by geography. So whatever happens, they have very high stakes in ensuring that Africa succeeds. And I think that partnership I talked about and this package that put together, the global gateway, are actually signs that they really mean to have in place measures and programs which can help develop Africa and thereby benefiting Europe as well. China will remain a big partner and a big player, of course, by virtue of its economic position and strength. So will be India, actually, which actually is also a traditional partner for Africa. But I think if you put everything on balance, Europe indeed has got more to gain from successes in Africa.
Okay, and my last question to Jarosław, why does Mercosur deal trigger protests in Europe and EU, India is not?
This is the question of the knowledge of the structure. We are, in reality, the European Union protects European agriculture because of the completely different structure, social structure of the European agriculture. And in the south of America, the producers are very big. And in Europe, the European agriculture is dominated by small family producers. So the European Union must protect this kind of producers because of the social problem that can be provoked by the competition without regulation, without rules. And I think that we are not competitive. We are not competing with Mercosur, for example, because we produce in Poland. We produce apples. And they produce citrus. We produce vodka, and they produce wine. And this is completely everything. Every protest like that. This is the political question, not the economic or commercial question.
Let me stop our talks here. And to draw the situation, to conclude it, the big powers are reshaping now the global scene of the trade. Who will win? We will see the China, the US, Europe, or it will be a great chance for Africa and South America. That's all for Press Talks today. Thank you for watching. Thank you, my fellow colleagues, for your insight. I'm Jarosław Włodarczyk. Stay well and see you next time. Goodbye.